G'day humans, Chris Stead here. Got a quick video for you. A few people have been asking me about the difference between the A80L and the Bravia 8. So that's the Sony A80L, which is the 2023 model OLED, and then just announced 2024 OLED in Sony range, the Bravia 8. So I'm going to give you guys a quick broad overview of the features that Sony has identified, the big differences between the two models. And then I'm going to let Daniel Kennedy, who's the Senior Product and Partner Specialist at Sony here in Australia, to go a little bit deeper and talk you through the difference between the two TVs at the Sony launch here in Sydney, in the 2024 TV range launch, and also then demonstrate some of those new features, including Voice Zoom 3.0 and the new backlit remote, and show you the new stand design as well, so a few bits and pieces like that. So if you want to hang around, you get to see a bit more depth, but just let's start with a quick broad overview. Now what you can see here is a slide provided to me by Sony, and it was presented at the 2024 TV launch, and this shows you that they've consolidated the A80L and the A90K into a single brand this year, which is the Bravia 8, and they've done it across the range. So you'll see on my channel elsewhere, I've compared the Bravia 9 to the Bravia 8. I've also done a video between the Bravia 7 and the Bravia 9. There's also a Bravia 3, which is very entry level. So they're making the naming structure a lot easier to understand and just going for this kind of Bravia and a number as opposed to the A for OLED and X for not mini LED and the alphabetic representations of years that they went through before. Great move, a lot easier to understand if you ask me. Now, here's the top level differences between the two TVs. So the design, you'll see that it's a lot slimmer this time around. So it was kind of slim last time, but it was bulky at the back. So this is slimmer all around. Different bezel on it as well, and the stand positioning is different. So I'll take you through that in a second, but basically it's got a broader, it's kind of easier way of doing the stands. It allows it to sit on more entertainment units, but also suits the sound bars a bit better as well. Now the picture difference is all about the brightness, and there is about 8 to 10% brighter panel this time around for the Bravia 8 over the A80L. And there's some pretty decent new gaming features. So the PS Remote Play is a big one that allows you to play your PlayStation basically on your TV, no matter where your PlayStation is in your house, as long as it's on Wi-Fi. So the new gaming menus in there, Dolby Vision gaming and multi-view as well. On the sound front, probably the key one there is the Acoustic Center Sync 2.0, which basically allows the TV, the speakers that are in the OLED panel, as opposed to just being one, all of them becoming just a center speaker. They actually all play a different role. So that's what the kind of Sync 2.0 does. Voice Zoom 3.0 as well, which I'll show you the demonstration for that in a sec. It's really quite cool, especially if you, as someone who just can't stand low dialogue, which I am one of those people. On the UX side, Wi-Fi 6E, improved system on chip as well. And on the eco side of things, like I said, there's a new kind of backlit premium eco remote. So that's only in the Bravia 8 and the Bravia 9. It's specific to those kind of higher end, those two higher end models in the 2024 range. And new eco dashboard as well, which I'll also show you. It allows you to basically monitor the energy consumption of your TV and just keep a broader overview of what's going on. Now, what they haven't mentioned in this slide, which is also true, is that they've ditched the QD-OLED that they were using in the A80L, and they're now going to the Evo OLED for the Bravia 8. So that's something else to consider, or just to know. And look, you can see the sizing there as well, so it's down to 3 sizes. Now I know depending on what territory you're in, it's going to be different. This is an Australian territory here, so sometimes I often get complaints in these videos in the comments, and people are saying, oh, you missed this size, you got this size wrong. Well, it's just different in different territories. So you might have a 4th or even a 5th size wherever you are. But anyway, let's dive in and listen to what Daniel's got to say about between the two, and then go into some of those demonstrations.
I've actually got something on the TVs from here on in, 7, 8 and 9, have what's called a Voice Zoom. Right, so Voice Zoom uses XR processor and a bit of wizardry. So this is pretty much the only time that you'll hear me say AI this presentation. But we have an AI machine learning algorithm in there which detects just the voice. And what it does is it'll allow you to amp up the voice or decrease the voice as you see fit. So I've got a clip on Bravia 8, And we'll start with at minimum. So typical household, you're watching football.
When he spoke to the media, he said that he's still learning about the game, and he's always felt that it's better to be kinder with players, never a coach who wields the big stick and gets a response. Doesn't matter where he's been.
Well, dealing with that fella is one of the big challenges for Dortmund. Jude Bellingham, what season he's had, what season he's not had.
This is Jude, just overrunning the ball.
Yeah, it took his time to get going this season. No Benzema, with whom he had a great relationship, but second half of the campaign he's been absolutely electric.
So it's quite unique in that you can turn just the volume of the voice up and down. And that works with any input that goes in the TV. So be it HDMI, you're watching free-to-air, you're watching Netflix, you're watching Stan Sports, which is what we're watching. And there's a few use cases here, because generally you can only turn it up, but we allow customers to turn it down as well. So if you're watching the cricket and you want the commentary on the radio, and really you don't want to hear the commentary on the TV that much, you can just turn it down on the TV and then have your radio playing in the background. But yeah, it's one of the best features for hard of hearing customers, and just people that they want to hear more of the voice. They're not that invested in what's happening in the background, they just want to hear the voice. For those customers, this allows them to do that. So that's on all the TVs, Bravia 7, 8 and 9. So this is a nice segue into the OLED, which we just heard from that demonstration. All the voice that was coming, or I guess all the sound that was coming with that demonstration was from the actual screen itself. So one of the patents that we have on our OLEDs is that we actually utilize the screen as a speaker. So we've got, if you think of the screen as a speaker cone, we've got multiple speakers at the back and forward-facing subwoofers, and the screen vibrates to create the sound. So you're getting the sound from the screen and not above or below the TV. So it's quite a unique experience there. This comes in 3 screen sizes, 55, 65 and 77 inch. And again, this uses that underlay stand design that we had before, glass all the way to the edge, no plastic fantastic here, it's all aluminium, brushed aluminium. And this TV is actually 30% thinner than the previous year. So we've made it a lot thinner. Previous year, the screen was thin, but then we had this sort of bulge at the back. But now the entire TV is nice and thin, which is cool to see. Again, 4-way stand positions, pairs perfectly with the Bravia Theatre 8. We've got it paired up with the quad at this stage as well. And there's a new remote control for this particular TV as well, which is backlit. So yeah, it's got a accelerometer on there. You won't be holding it upside down when you use that remote control. That's right. So with these OLEDs, A80, A90K are replaced by the new Bravia 8. So again, that consolidation of the range that we're talking about, making it easier for customers. Slightly higher brightness, so 8 to 10% increase in brightness year on year. So you've got that. You've also got the new gaming menu, PS Remote Play, Dolby Vision Gaming, something called Acoustic Center Sync 2.0, which we'll demonstrate to you guys in a second. But previously what happened was, if you paired a Sony soundbar with a Sony TV, it would just use the TV speakers as a center channel. Now it incorporates all the speakers of the TV into the sound setup. So the left, right subwoofers, they all work as they should within the entire system. So that is the new Bravia 8. We're talking about that premium backlit remote.
QD-OLED yes. Or Evo OLED?
Evo. Although you didn't hear that from me. Unconfirmed. So yes, it is a white OLED panel. We won't be using QD-OLED in the Bravia 8. Yeah. So this is a premium backlit remote, recycled materials for that, and as you can see, it is backlit. We have hands-free voice search on all our TVs as well. Hey Google, find my remote.
Ooh! Here's a summary from Tile Tracker. 5 tips
set
for finding
someone
a
off.
lost TV remote. 1. Use a Bluetooth tracker to never lose your remote again. 2. Ask your family, friends if they move the remote. 3.
Ask your friend.
3.
That's a good one.
End table. 4. Check in the couch.
Oh.
And 5.
Okay, Google,
5.
stop.
All else fails. Check in the least likely places.
So it sounded pretty close to that.
So Tim's got the remote control there. One big thing that Tim will show you now is that has a pretty big speaker in there.
Yeah, that's the speaker at the back there that we just used to make that noise. Also USB-C connection, as you can see on the screen. So that means that you can charge via USB-C. The battery life is about 6 months, even with the backlit function. So battery life is fantastic. When the battery is running out, you'll get a warning from the TV that you need to charge your remote. The cable is bundled in the box. You'll just plug it into the USB port of the TV into here. About a half an hour charge, and you get another 6 months. So fantastic features on the new
Remote control, yeah. So it's awesome. That comes in the box with the Bravia 8 and the Bravia 9. So 2 of our models will have that new remote control. The Hey Google, I've said that, haven't I? That feature, yeah, it's really handy. So typically, if you've lost the remote, you don't know where it is, it's fallen down the couch. Bluetooth Low Energy, 20 to 25 meters. If your house is bigger than that, sure. But for a lot of people, hopefully the remote doesn't get further than that from their TV. You can use any of your smart home devices that are Google to find it. So if you want to use your watch or your mobile phone, you can just say those magic words and find my remote, and it'll find it within your house. What we've actually done here is we've enabled 4 stand positions for all of our TVs from 7, 8 and 9. So the stand positions I'm going to show you, yeah, they're the same stand positions that you'll be able to get for all of the TVs 7, 8 and 9 in all the screen sizes as well. So essentially you've got an outside stand position or an inside stand position. And the really cool thing about the inside stand position is that for, let's say your TV bench was theoretically this wide, you could fit an 85-inch TV. So there's no real situation where a customer says, oh, 85-inch TV, we're going to have to upgrade the TV cabinet. So that's a really versatile feature there. And then you've got the replicated stand positions, but raised up for customers that want to put a soundbar underneath. Now, with the Bravia Bar 8 and 9, they come with these rubberized feet. So you'll see the feet down here. They screw into the base of the TV. So if you want, you put those on and it sits above that stand. So it's not sort of vibrating on the stand, it's actually sitting above that. If you don't want to use that and your soundbar or TV is big enough not to use that narrow position, you can have it without the feet as well. And they're just like the standard rubberized, the smaller standard rubberized feet on there. So super versatile, super easy, and it's just a few screws and it just sort of, you just pull them out and change them. So that's all the TVs 7, 8 and 9, all screen sizes. So with the Eco dashboard, it looks at your power consumption. So for all of our customers, they now have all their power settings in one place and an estimated power consumption displayed in watts. So what they'll do is they'll have all the settings of the TV and they'll test power consumption, and then they will provide those for you there. So you can do things that actually affect the picture quality. So you can see it's gone from 300 to 144 watts. And if you go really, really high, then it goes quite dim to 76 watts. But if you don't want to affect your picture quality, you can have it auto adjust to the ambient lighting. And we've also kind of got, if you've ever watched Netflix for too long, it kind of goes, are you still watching? Like, are you still here? We've got that as well. So you can set it to whatever you want, where it's like either volume up or volume down, and it'll keep the TV on. But if you fall asleep on the couch, which does happen, like tonight when you're watching the State of Origin, then you can have it turn off if you're not watching it. Power consumption is pretty cool. So if you go into here, this actually shows you your yearly consumption and month, week on week, and day on day. So for example, if we go to week, you can actually see what we did last week on those particular days. So I can see if I'm watching more or less TV or consuming more or less power than I did the previous week. And they're all in watt hours or kilowatts. So for example here, 1.4 watt hours. about 35 cents a kilowatt, so around sort of 40, 45 cents for that day of usage. So that's how you would basically read that. So as long as you know what you're paying per unit of power, you can pretty much calculate how much it's costing you to run your own TV and then change your viewing habits or your power settings accordingly.
That's excellent. Really good.
So it's a brand new feature. It's actually something that we requested from last year's TVs that they've implemented. So it's great that the engineers were listening there.
Is it TV specific, or can you show two different Sonys on that same graph?
It's TV specific and usage specific for that particular TV, but it comes on all of our TVs. So 3, 7, 8 and 9 will all have their own eco dashboard.
So Dan, sorry, so the eco dashboard was available on previous models, but it's the consumption.
So the new consumption and the turn off if inactive are brand new features for this year.
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.